Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a single powerful storyline that runs through the entire Bible, from the first pages all the way to the very last. And it's a story you might have missed, even though it's been hiding in plain sight. The epic drama of the nations, a narrative of cosmic fracture, and an absolutely breathtaking rescue plan. So let's start by challenging something we think we know. We usually see the Tower of Babel as this standalone story that just, explains where different languages came from. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if it wasn't an ending, but the real beginning, Act 1 of the entire biblical drama? Well, that's exactly the big idea we're digging into today. The perspective that the story of the nations isn't just some side plot. Nope. It's the main event, the central thread that ties the whole thing together, from Genesis all the way through to Revelation. Okay, so let's start at the beginning, this foundational moment of cosmic fracture. And we have to get this, it was about way more than just confusing languages. This was an event that literally tore humanity apart and scattered it all across the globe. What's really interesting is that before the tower is even built, the story gives us this thing called the Table of Nations. Now, you should think of it less like a dry family tree and more like a theological map of the ancient world. It's carefully laying out all the different people groups in their territories, basically setting the stage for the conflict that's about to erupt. And then, the rebellion. This tower, it wasn't just some ambitious building project. It was a defiant act of rebellion. See, instead of spreading out and filling the earth like they were supposed to, humanity dug in its heels. They consolidated their power to make a name for themselves, a clear declaration of independence from their creator. And the consequence for this, it is absolutely massive. This is a key part of the whole story. It wasn't just about language. The Bible, especially in a key passage in Deuteronomy, calls this a disinheritance. This was a formal, divine judgment. God essentially hands over the scattered nations, placing them under the authority of other, lesser spiritual powers. It's a staggering cosmic development that completely changes the spiritual landscape of the world. But right on the heels of this judgment, the plot takes a sharp turn. This isn't the end of the story at all. In fact, it's immediately followed by the launch of a grand rescue plan, one that's going to unfold across generations. And the sequence of events here is so important. It is no accident that the call of Abraham comes in the very next chapter after Babel. The biblical author is being incredibly intentional, putting the solution right next to the problem. And that solution is spelled out in this famous promise to Abraham. But check out the strategy here. The plan narrows its focus way down to just one man and his family, but its purpose is explicitly global. Through this one family, God intends to eventually bless all the families of the earth. Yep, the very same ones who were just scattered. So here's the thing you gotta get. This was never about God picking a favorite nation and just abandoning everyone else. No way. It was about choosing one nation to become the instrument of rescue for all the others. The whole purpose of Israel was missionary right from the very beginning. So with that rescue plan now in motion, the stage was set for a major turning point in the story. A series of events that would start to actively reverse the fragmentation that began way back at Babel. And for centuries, this hope just kept growing. Prophetic texts kept pointing forward to a coming Messiah, this Son of Man, who wouldn't just be a king for Israel. Oh no, the promise was way bigger. He would inherit all nations, peoples, and languages, and finally restore God's direct rule over the entire world. And all of this builds to one of the most powerful moments in the New Testament, Pentecost. And it's set up as a direct, symbolic reversal of what went down at Babel. I mean, look at this. Where Babel was human rebellion, Pentecost is a divine outpouring. Where Babel resulted in confusion, Pentecost brings clarity. Where Babel scattered the nations, Pentecost begins to gather them back together. But notice something really cool here. The miracle didn't erase all the different languages. It supernaturally bridged them. The Holy Spirit made it possible for people to communicate across these divides, creating a totally new kind of unity based on a shared message. This was the starting gun, the clear signal that the Great Restoration Project was officially underway. All right, let's bring it home. We're moving into the final act now to see how this whole reclamation project unfolds through the rest of the New Testament and all the way to the end of the story. So when Jesus gives his followers that famous command to make disciples of all nations, you have to see it in this context. It is not just a friendly suggestion to go share some good news. No, this is the operational plan for this cosmic recovery project. It's the enactment of his newly declared authority over the whole world. So when you pull the camera back, the whole arc of the story just snaps into focus. You can see this coherent storyline playing out across millennia. A fracture leads to a promise. That promise builds to a climax, which triggers a great reversal. And that reversal launches a mission, all of it driving toward a final, spectacular fulfillment. It's all one incredible story. And the Bible's final scene brings this entire drama to its amazing conclusion. The story that began with humanity scattered and divided ends with this stunning vision of a reconciled humanity. You've got every tribe, every language, every single nation gathered together, and their unique identities aren't erased. They're celebrated, bringing their own glory together into a renewed creation.
So, seeing the Bible through this lens, well, it changes things, doesn't it? It really challenges our modern ideas of what unity even looks like. I mean, if the goal isn't to erase our differences, but to bring them together in harmony, what does that mean for how we build our communities, how we engage with the world, and how we understand our own place in this ancient, ongoing story?